10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is up, everybody? It is Thursday night. It is 9 p.m. You know what time it is. It is time for Shooting the Shit Uncensored, and I am your host, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, I've got a great guest on tonight, and honestly, me and this guest, we were just sitting bullshitting for the last 15 minutes and realized, holy fuck, we're 10 minutes late, so let's get this game started. But Smack Daddy's joining me. Six Below's Head Honcho Smack Daddy. We're going to be talking all things Six Below, pro wrestling, and much more. So make sure you stay tuned. But guys, before we get into it, you know I got to take that time to thank some of those amazing sponsors that keep this show possible every single week. First up is healthvape.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you know someone who is one of those nasty fucking people that smokes cigarettes or vape with those big fucking vape things and chuck up clouds like I do, then you need to get them on healthvape.com. All of their products are no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals, and they're vitamin infused, I should say. Check out all of their vape and pod products. Use promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Guys, while you're at it, check out sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS, sleefs.com. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, headbands, boots. Dudes, this is your non-stop shop for all your athletic wear and all your athletic needs. They've even got these dirty boxes, and you know I rave about them. Guys, these dirty boxes, they've sent me boxes of the boxes, right? And I've chucked out all my other boxes because these boxes are that good. They stay dry. They stay fresh. I'm an active guy. I'm a dad of 3. I work full-time. I podcast full-time. I'm non-stop, bro, to be honest. And these dirty boxes keep me comfy all day long. And they've got amazing designs at the front. So when the belt buckle comes undone at the end of the night, it'll keep your significant other giggling, if you know what I'm saying. But guys, check out those dirty boxes and everything else at Sleeves. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Guys, we got Kyle Eade in the house. Thank you for tuning in, Mr. Kyle Eade. He is keen for this one, as am I. But guys, if you were first time tuning into the MWA Podcast Network, wherever you are finding us, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, share, comment, all that other good stuff. I much appreciate it. If you're finding us on a podcast platform, give us a 5-star review. It helps us out massively. Leave us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are. Guys, we are your one-stop shop for all your pro wrestling media. We've got Killing the Business with former ECW original, the Kingpin, Angel Medina, with also pro wrestling veteran King Mega. Every single week, where these guys go down every single thing of what's happening in the world of pro wrestling in that week. Guys, also check out Nights of the Gimmick Table, hosted by the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider, and Deathmatch superstar Cade Lothbrock. And guys, make sure you check out this show, Shooting the Shit Uncensored NXT Roundup, and go and check out Wrestling with Tragedy over on Russo's brand. That's the Vince Russo's brand, patreon.com/RussoTWC. You get Wrestling with Tragedy, an exclusive first look at Wrestling with Tragedy, an amazing bunch of other content from professional wrestlers that are veterans, current wrestlers, everything else. It's an amazing content. Go and subscribe. It's definitely worth the price of admission. Whoa, guys, I'm losing my voice. I keep saying it that like I said it last night and the night before when we were on, that like I think I'm turning into Tony Schimmel now. It's like I'm going to be going the rated R superstar, but I don't know. I kind of sounded like, I don't know, maybe like Chucky from Rugrats, but whatever, I digress. But ladies and gentlemen, my guest of this evening, Smack Daddy. What's going on, brother?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me on your show, sir. I, as you know, I've been a fan for quite some time now. And this is a first for us because we're both the bearded, bald, dad bod, gods of the airways, basically.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, man. And this is like the first time of us talking, which is kind of weird because like we usually interact on like social media quite often. So it's like I feel this is like I should have had you on like maybe a year ago, and I feel bad, so I apologize.
Oh, no, it's all gravy. I mean, look, the first time we interacted was when you had my boy on the show here, and I'm interacting in the comments section, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. I'm loving this. But yeah, man, this is great. This is a buzz for me. This is an absolute pleasure.
Oh man, pleasure's all mine, brother. But thank you for coming on, and getting straight into it, bro. Like Six Below, man. Like once I had Smacks on, and me and him established a friendship, and I started seeing the product that you guys were doing. It was something different and unique, and I think when you hit that different and unique buttons in professional wrestling, you're really going into uncharted territory in a lot of ways. And that's what I saw with like Six Below. I'm like, this is a really cool concept. Well, but for live perception, how do you pull this off live? And that's what I said to Smacks. I was like, great concept, but for a live audience, how does it work?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the whole thing. I guess it's never going to be quite the same as it was with that cinematic stuff. Never going to be, because you don't get those camera cuts, you don't get those angles, whatever. But what we can do is give them stuff that they haven't seen here before, like our main event for this next show. I mean, this is a first for this country. I mean, I know it's been done in others around the world, other countries and other companies. But for us, for right here, right now, this is something unique. And don't worry, believe me, we've got this all sorted. It's worked. It's done. And we know that this is going to work. It's going to pay off. This electrified light tubes. I mean, I've seen it, but to be a part of it here, first time ever, is just going to, it's something different, something that I've wanted to give to people, because I've been to so many shows, I've worked so many shows, and there's so many, they have their death matches, and they're usually like the plastic forks in the foam, or barbed wire or thumbtacks, or so on and so forth. But and light tubes, I mean, shit, I took 2 light tubes at our back alley brawl show, from my own boy, and dropped me like a sack of brass spuds. But the fact of the matter is that this is going to be something that is just hectic and off its head. And I'm super pumped. I can't wait. I'm sitting here 15 days out from the show, and I'm going, yeah, all right. I'm starting to feel those prickles on the back of my neck, I ain't got no hair, but I'm feeling those prickles nonetheless.
Look, I feel you, man. And Jason Crusher Cole, going up against a veteran like Guido, who being over from the United States and holding a US deathmatch championship here in Australia and defending it in promotions here in Australia as well. This must be a massive match for this young dude as well.
Oh, without doubt. I mean, look, they banged it out at our back alley brawl show, right? And Jay got annihilated by Smacks, Valiant, and Guido after the match, which is where I took the 2 shots as well. But
Yeah.
this is redemption for Jay. He's like, I'm not playing anymore, Plus, there is the possibility, if it gets here in time, we'll be crowning our champion on that night.
Wow.
Because I've had the belt made. The belt's made. It's ready. It's on its way to me, and I'm waiting for it to get here. Once it's here, I'm telling you, because it's a sexy, sexy looking belt too.
Yeah.
I'll send you photos after this because
100%.
I don't want to give everyone. I want everyone to see it. Kyle says, will it be available to watch online at any time? That is something that I'm in the process of working out now. If not, I'll chuck it on our YouTube channel. Look, hey, you're never going to get better than actually being there to see it. But we're going to try and do what we can, bro, to give it to as many people as we damn well can.
100%, man. And like, as far as putting on these matches, man, like, I'm a deathmatch fan. Like, I've dude, I'm nearly 40 years of age, so I grew up watching the era of Mick Foley flying off a fucking house, and the IWA Dream Deathmatch tournament. You know what I mean? Like, I remember having a tape and watching that at like 15, 16 and being like enamored with it, and going on to obviously seeing how it progressed to CZW and XPW. And,
exactly.
All these other things. But as far as like putting these promotions together, like as a promoter going into this and to have put these matches on, is it like, you know what I mean? Like your heart is in your throat while these matches are going on, because obviously you establish relationships with the workers as a promoter, you know what I'm saying? So you don't want to see your friends taking punishment, even though like we know what it is and it's not necessarily as nasty as what it's made out to be. It's pretty nasty, but not as what it is.
My throat's
like, go like, man, I just don't want anyone to get hurt. Like, because shit happens, man.
My heart's in my throat. Even if it's a show, I'm just working, seeing the people I care about out there and hoping and praying that they all come away unscathed, because I've seen so many people I know over the years get hurt in the ring just doing a standard friggin' match. Like I remember one year there were at APW, we were crowning the tag team champions, the first ever tag team champions. And one of the young boys from one of the teams, the Wanners, he did a moonsault, I'm pretty sure, off the top of the ladder, and Raw Beef were down the bottom. And instead of landing the right way up, he cracked heads with one of them, with one of the Raw Beef boys. Now, we're talking about big Samoan boys.
Yeah.
So one of the Wanner boys, this young guy, he fractured some vertebrae in his neck. We were talking about like 19-year-old kids that had skill and potential. He's good now. They've taken some time away and they're dealing with personal stuff, obviously, or something. But point being is that they pulled this off. He broke his neck and went away healed, but everything's okay. But that's one of those moments that where you say about your heart in your throat. Every time I see my friends out there doing something like that, I get that feeling. It's like, I hope they're okay. What can you do though? But we love this business and we'll do what we can to make it succeed, to make people sit up and watch us, to pay attention and go, dude, they're fucking nuts. They're fucking crazy. I'm coming back to watch them again.
And I think that's where you have to have faith in your performers, that they're going to be able to go out there and to be able to do that sort of thing, do the extreme moments, and even have regular matches and, be able to do them safely. What happened to that young man you were talking about? That's an unfortunate accident. you know, but
Oh, very much so.
that's what it was. It was an accident. It wasn't anything that, you know, from what you described it to me, it wasn't like anyone took a liberty or anyone
Nope.
intentionally went out to hurt this kid. It was just a freak fucking accident, and it's just unfortunate.
Well, that's it. You look at Tyson, and Tyson, that's twice now he's done his knee. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it's like, what, you know, and all you can do is try and do what you can and hope and pray for the best for them. But when they injure themselves, it's like, okay, let's just give them as much encouragement. Or as you see, Smacks has made a T-shirt that is going to raise profits for Tyson's knee reconstruction. So, I mean, look, you know, we do what we can to look after each other because why? You know as well as I do, we're a massive family and we look after each other 100%. And there's no in between with that. You can't be wishy-washy in this business, you know. You can't be half in, half out. You're either backing your mates and your family and your friends, and I've made so much family and friends out of this business. For someone who's been in this business for such a short amount of time, I've been in this game less than 10 years. My boy's been in this game longer, but I've always been around.
Yeah.
You know, I got asked on an accident to become a ring announcer because somebody didn't show and they said, can you do it? I went, well, I sing in front of 200 people. So I'm pretty sure if you give me a microphone in my hand, I'm not going to have a problem talking to people. And I didn't. And to the point where I had George Julio come up to me after the show. He goes, you know, out there, you remind me of Jack Little. And I'm like, dude, that's a compliment and a half.
That's a big
Thank
call.
you. Thank you. And this is the guy who worked with him. You know?
That's it's crazy how, like, you know, you can accidentally fall into things, you know what I mean? Like not even fall into things, but I think opportunities present themselves at the strangest opportunities. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, it's happened to me in this business. You know what I mean? Like, oh, would you like to ring announce? Fuck yeah. You know, would you like to do commentary? Sure, let's do it. You know, try. Yeah, man, sign me up. Like,
yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if you don't know how to do it, just say yes and, you know, work it out.
Exactly. Exactly right. And that's what I said. It was like, it was the War Machine, K. Morozov.
Yeah.
Works for NAW. He messaged me out the blue. He goes, do you reckon you could do, you know, ring announce? And I went, yeah. You sure? I went, yeah, bro. And he said, and he asked me another 3 or 4 times. And I was like, yeah, dude, just give me the microphone. I mean, there's a people sitting down in a chair. I don't have to sing. There's no music. I just got to talk. And I could talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles. So we got no problem here, bro.
Yeah. No, you and me are a lot alike, Smack Daddy.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, look, you know, that's it. It's all about entertaining the people. Because that's what they come to see us for, is to be entertained. You know, and if we can just suspend that reality for them for 2-3 hours, our job's done. Our job's done. They walk away feeling like they've just been sitting on cloud 9, and that is everything.
I think that's the thing. If you can put on a good show, and I think that's where, like, you know, good promotions like Six Below, like a DMDU, PWA, and all these other ones, that you can sit there and add different elements of pro wrestling and bring different talents into your show. It's like, okay, yeah, we do death matches, but we'll also bring you, you know, an amazing, you know, high flying match between two of the best high
exactly
flyers.
Right.
We'll bring you the best chain wrestling match. We'll bring you the best, you know, Australian style, whatever kind of match, a brawl or this or that. And that's the thing. What you've got then is a buffet of professional wrestling. So it's like, okay, I come to see smack the fuck out of someone with a light tube. Holy shit, I didn't know about a Kid Valiant. Who's this dude that's flying around to the ring? Holy shit. Okay, you know what I mean? And then the crossover of that.
Exactly.
Like, slowly think, but there's always a little bit of something for everybody, and you never know what might fall on someone's plate where they might go, holy shit, where's this been all my life?
Yeah. And that was it, you know. Look, for me, I you know, like you said, you've always been about death death match, and you know you've watched it for a long time. Now I saw bits and pieces growing up, right? I saw your old school ECW, and as the boy told you in his interview, the very first death matches he saw was I pulled out the ECW DVD for him in the shop, and he looked at it, he goes, "Oh, I don't know anyone." No, you want to watch Violence Boy? You watch that. Here, I will buy it for you, take it home and watch it. And that ignited that love for him. That was where it took off to him. You know, you had this bloody the Rotten Brothers going one-on-one with each other. You had so many matches in that were just blood, gore, and that suspension of disbelief was there, where you thought they were literally beating the absolute living shit out of each other, but they were keeping each other safe as hell, and they knew they were.
And you know what? That's one thing, like, and I've always said this, that Axel Rotten is probably one of the most underrated fucking pro wrestlers in history, as far as like how he can work, how he can promo. Him on the mic, you can put him up against anyone in the fucking business and he can cut a promo. And one of my biggest regrets is he passed before I started this podcast. I would have I would have, you know what I mean? I think having a conversation with him, because he seemed like such a smart dude as well. But, you know, Ian as well, like Ian was one of those guys who I think kind of gets a really bad rep, but in reality, he was also one who helped give a platform to a lot of young guys in the early, and even till this day, but in the early 2000s, in the late 90s, like a Chris Hero, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Colt Cabana, like, you know, all these young talents that were coming through at that time went through IWA Mid-South, and even going up like Eddie Kingston's and the Claudio Castagnoli's and stuff like that. You know, was he the best promoter in the world? Probably not. Did he fuck over some of the wrestlers? Sure. Was he the first promoter to do it? Probably not. Is he the last? Probably not. Like,
probably not.
But you know what I mean? Like, you see him now and the talent he's getting now. So obviously he's operating at a different level than what he used to. But I think deathmatch wrestling is good if done right. And it's like any type of wrestling. And if it's good wrestling, it's good wrestling. It's bad wrestling, it's bad wrestling. Like bad comedy wrestling, which I think Joel Bateman mentioned when he was on the show. And it's like, bad comedy wrestling fucking sucks. And you can't disagree with that.
No, you can't.
Bad deathmatch wrestling, when like I've seen death matches like where guys are walking around like doing this and just bro, we all know it's a fucking work, but like, come on, like, protect
at least make it look real, protect the gimmick, you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck, you know? And that's the beauty that I really dug about the taking a light tubes, because taking those two was the very first time I've ever taken a light tube, But what I loved about it was that I didn't need the blade, because it was naturally there. It was like the claret started, and I was like, "You beauty! I don't need to do that now." You know, I've done it before. I've had the blade before for matches when Alpha did their anniversary show. You know, I took a set of brass knucks, went down, rolled off the apron, went down, and give myself the gig, and came up and had blood coming down my face, which was when Sicko Daddy came into play, which was he's a whole nother level of fucked up. Because he came out with his mask on and his blood-stained overalls and got involved in a rumble. So I was like, okay, sweet. But you need to maintain that gimmick. You need to maintain that suspension of disbelief for the people. Make them think that, okay, so he's been belted in the head, and that's why he's bleeding. Not walking around cutting yourself just, you know, to get that blood. What is that shit? That's ridiculous.
But even when, like, you know, when people who know the business and workers who watch the business and they see a guy take a chair shot and, you know, he goes or she goes down to the ground and puts that up. You know what I mean? Like, if you know, like, what's happening, you know they're bleeding, right? But still, you don't see them sitting there like, oh, shit, I missed it. Like, you see them down like that and they come up with color. Like, you know what's going on because you understand what's going on. But, you know what I'm saying? Like guys just
Yeah.
doing that sort of shit.
I'm
Like,
not a yeah.
like you taking the
Maintain that illusion. You need
but
to
like,
maintain that illusion because there's going to be those in the crowd, and we know it. And in every crowd, there's those in the crowd that don't know, you know,
Mm.
or they do know, but they don't want to believe that. They want to actually believe it's real for me. God damn it. You know what I mean? It's like,
I've seen people at
that's,
shows that are like that, man. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's like, you know, and it's fair enough. But you know what? I've also seen people that can just like, dude, like when I'm at a show, I just like to suspend that disbelief, sit there and enjoy seeing people like
exactly.
they put on an amazing show. You know what I mean? Like that to me is more, like if I'm there, I don't want to be sitting there going like, oh yeah, I see what you know what I mean. Like just
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
live
exactly right.
wrestling is so fucking cool.
Exactly. I mean, and that's it because we fell in love with that business for a reason because they told us stories that we weren't getting in those fairy tales, that we
Yeah,
weren't getting on the soapies. They were giving us soapies with violence.
yeah.
They were
It
giving
was
us the stories that we wanted, but we were watching people beat the snot out of each other while they were telling the story to us. And it was like, yeah, okay. And you believed in those heroes that you followed. You believed in them because it was like, for me, it was like 80s. It was Hogan, it was Warrior, it was,
yeah.
you know, the Road Warriors, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the 80s, start of the 90s, watching these guys coming through. Demolition when they turned on Fuji. You know, that was one of the ultimate moments for me because I remember watching Fuji having Demolition doing all of his filthy, dirty work. He turns on him, and all of a sudden, their faces, and I'm like, yeah, they're good guys now. You know what I mean? It was like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
believed that. We loved that. That was what we did it for the story, for the
But
storytelling.
but I think like if you can, like if good performers can be in the ring and tell a great story and capture that imagination,
Yeah,
like especially like like if they can capture the imagination. And I love seeing it when people that aren't fans of the business, not necessarily haters of wrestling, but people that just don't like, nah, I'll watch something else. You know what I mean? Like they're just not fans of the business. I love when I see those people sit down and they just like randomly see a match and it's like an amazing match and they sit there and they get so enamored in it. And I've seen it happen with my wife a couple of times where I'll be watching wrestling. She's like, this is fucking bullshit, bro. And then she'll be like,
yeah.
and then like, you know, and I'm like, you fucking mark. But you know what I mean? Like you see that, and it's like cool. That is cool because that person then bought into the magic of pro wrestling for that moment, bought into what is going on, and let themselves enjoy that moment of that performance.
Yeah, well, I copped that. I copped that going through my 20s, just about to hit my 30s. After my first marriage broke down, and I was living in a house with my brother, and all of his mates would come over, you know, big bong heads and whatever, and they go and do their thing, whatever. And I'd be sitting in there on a Saturday night
Yeah,
watching Nitro. And I'd be sitting back in the lounge and watching Nitro, and these guys go, hey, what's he watching that shit? Rah, rah, rah. And then you'd get two or three of them to come in and go, oh, what do you watch? Oh, what's going on here? And then they'd sit down and I'd look at them and go, you fucking Mark. And then I'd just sit there and keep watching, you know, and because then I would suck them in. They would get sucked in and get dragged in and watch the same thing. Like you said, you know, about your missus, the same thing.
yeah. Hey Smack Daddy, Marky Boy says, "Hey Smack Daddy, really miss listening to you and Hardy. I think his name is on commentary at APW. You guys were awesome together. One of the best commentary teams in Australia, I reckon."
Oh, thank you, Marky. Thank you, man. I'm still gonna have ties with APW, but their next show, I'm actually going to announce my retirement as the GM there because I've got to focus on this now. This is my baby, and I can't. I've got to learn to not try and wear myself so thin and across so many different companies. Because at one point there I was working for like 4 or 5 companies, and now I want to focus on Six Below. I'm going to do some work with VPW, with Gabrielle Wolf's company. That's kind of where I want to sit now. I want to keep my focus on these 2 projects that I'm doing, because we got a bit of a thing that's going to be happening, and I'll allude you to that a bit more later, that we're going to be doing at VPW. But Six Below and VPW are kind of going to be my focuses now, with Jez with Smacks having to pull away because he's got a lot of other stuff on his plate and stuff like that. So basically the reins have just been handed over, the keys have been handed over and said, Dad, you and the boys run this. And I'm like, cool, done, down. Because this was the dream. This was the dream. It always was, to run our own show, run our own company. I mean, like I said, at 5 years old, him sitting on my knee and telling me that I want to do this one day, Dad, while we're sitting there watching Raw. And I went, mate, you can do whatever you want. Yeah. You just put your mind to it, you're good. And he had a great run. He did a great amount of good things within this.
Oh, 100%. And, I think that's the thing. Like, Smacks is a great worker as well. Like, I enjoy watching his matches. It's disappointing to hear that he stepped down from, running things with you with Six Below, because he was so passionate about this promotion, and I'm sure he still is, by all means. I think what you guys have built has definitely been unique. It's an amazing product. I think this is your 3rd show, if I'm not correct.
Second live. We had to drop my 50th birthday show because restrictions came in, and we've had to do that with a couple of shows now. So this will be the 2nd live show, but the plan is that what we're going to do is we'll do this show, sit back for a little bit, and do some more of the cinematic stuff, because we want to be able to actually portray that and probably not have so much as much overproduction as there was. I mean, as much as I loved Welcome to the Neighborhood, and it was a great tape, but to actually have live rolling cameras actually filming, as opposed to a lot of cut scenes and stuff like that, kind of give it that little bit more authenticity, if you will, you know what I mean? Of it's actually taking place right now, and they're filming it as it happens, like a reality show,
almost like did you ever see Combat Zone Wrestling when they did the I think it was the Ultra Violent Underground, and it was when I think the state of New Jersey or Philadelphia, wherever it is, they were running, but banned them from using barbed wire, glass, thumbtacks, light tubes, all that shit. So they basically would do ultra violent matches in this random warehouse and have Necro Butcher and JC Bailey just it was just the most and then they would have the guys sprawl out to the ring for the pinfall in the middle of the ring. It was you know what? They did what they needed to do to bring that to their audience. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's creative.
But that's it. That's what I mean. It's for us, what we want to do now is give that good mix. That look here, we'll put on live shows every now and then, and we'll put on a few, but we want to give some content that's strictly for online. Because how else do you create a buzz? You can't put asses in seats and sell out shows when you're still a fledgling company. That's just par for the course, that's the business. A lot of companies take 18 to 2 years before they start making hand over fist profit, that's
100%.
That's facts. That's reality. Unless you get lucky.
Well.
Exactly. Unless you get lucky and you get that 30, 40 people and that buzz just goes off and then you sell it, well then, hey, shit, you've copped onto a nice little bit of luck. But we need to build the brand. We need to build the name. We need to give people something so we can turn around and go say, I don't know, in 2 months' time, go, hey, look, we've been giving you all this, that, and the other, but we're coming back. We're going to do another live show. Oh, fuck. Okay. Well, I've enjoyed this. Let's go. You know what I mean? And so,
I think as well, like those cinematic matches that you could easily play, like, and to give the show a different feel is like you could play these matches on big screens during intermission, or you know what I mean, like be a build storyline or something. But one thing I want to ask is, like, with the cinematic style of matches like that these guys do, how did the performance feel being? Because I can imagine it was a lot of stop start. Like, they find it hard to flow having a match? Because like watching it looked great.
No, well, see, we did that whole welcome to the neighborhood. We did that in a day, and some matches there were stop, start, stop, start, stop, start to get just that right scene, that right angle, but none of them seemed like they were out of their depth or out of their element. Because I mean, the reality is, we look at it like this: they go out there and they perform that. It's just like they just can't do it as fast as they normally would. It's a matter of just slowing it down just a little bit. It's like, okay, so now I need you to run the ropes, back, 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 and trip. Okay, all right. Only do the ropes twice this time, and then trip, and we'll see how we go. And then that was all it was about getting the right scene, like the cuts where you got to get them to bleed, and because that was the thing, nobody gigged. We because we were able to stop it and stop the matches, we were able to use the fake blood as opposed to them gigging up for a cinematic job, which was fantastic, Yeah. Whereas a live show is a bit different. Damage. You can't do that, No. Live show you can't do it. You got to gig. You got no choice in the matter. If you want to bleed, you got to gig. That's it, But that's right. But yeah, no, it was easy to do that with the cinematic. And like for argument's sake, one of the matches there where somebody got kicked or punched in the face, and when he punched, the blood went out of his mouth because we put the fake blood in his mouth, so it made it look like he'd just been necked and was spitting blood out because his face was all fucked up. But it was grouse because we were all in it together, and come rap time at the end, everybody was happy as a pig in shit about what we'd accomplished that day. You know what I mean?
And you guys accomplished a great deal. Like, when Smack sent me the link to it, I sat down and watched it straight away. And he said to me, he's like, man, tell me, be brutally honest. I'm like, bro, that was a cool product, man. That was cool. I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Like,
he told me.
Yeah, and I did enjoy it, man. Like, I had no reason to say otherwise. But for me, I think like what I was sort of asking is, like, for these guys to sort of like, instead of them having an actual match, it's going through the motions of different spots and then capturing them, correct?
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. It was more spots as opposed to them having to go through the match. But they look, like I said, none of them seemed like they were out of their element or anything. They did it, and they were quite comfortable with that. And because then we would play it back and watch it, and if they could see something, well, I could probably do that better. So we'd go back and we'd recut the scene, and they'd do it again, and then it's like, yes, that's what we needed. That's what we wanted. That's what we got. And, so we did that. It was something different because I'd never seen anything like that before. I'd never heard anything like that before. And I was like, well, okay, why not? But I've got to the point where I've dropped the Six Below's got me dropping the suits now because I don't need to look classy anymore, I need to look dirty and grungy.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now.
That's it, man. Embrace that shit, brother. But you know, as far as like Smack's involvement now, is he still going to be wrestling on your shows, or like is he completely?
That'll be up. That's going to be up to him, because he needs to take this hiatus. This is a hiatus that he's been trying to take for like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And he just keeps getting dragged back into something else, and something will grab him, but he needs this break. Like he's got a lot of other projects on his plate as well, and these are the things that he's been trying to do for himself, like he's got his design company going, and t-shirts and stuff like that, and creating logos for people, and all of this sort of stuff. So, I mean, how much time do you have, that where you can give, especially when you've got your 9 to 5 as well on top of that, where do you draw the line, what do you have to do? And look, you know what, he's got to do what he's got to do for himself now.
100%. And sometimes you got to be, and I don't even say the word selfish. I think sometimes you got to take the time to take care of yourself, to say, hey,
yeah.
You need time for me. And that's cool, man, because you know what? We all fucking need to do that shit sometimes. And anyone who says they don't are mums.
Well, I mean, the boy literally legitimately got married like weeks ago. You know what I mean? So it's like all of this, and he just got back from his honeymoon, and and he's moving into his new house with his wife, and hopefully they're going to give me some grandbabies, that'd be fantastic. I'll be fucking wrapped. I got babies to look after. I'm a happy man. But
Granddad Smack.
Oh yeah, that's it. Smack granddaddy.
Smack granddaddy. Yeah, exactly. New gimmick, brother.
Hey, look, and that's just truth. You take the good with the bad. If and when he decides he wants to come back in, the door's always going to be open. But he may never want to come back in. He may just want to be a fan and sit and watch now. Because like I said, there's so many times where he's done the retirement thing and said, I'm done. And something's happened and he's come straight back in, and it's like, well, is this the time that you are taking now? Are you gonna pull the pin now? And it's never a certainty. Like I was ready to walk away before 6 Below, and just do a couple of shows here and there and blah blah blah, and then just it reignited something inside me. It woke up that primal need to give people something that they want to see, something different, something that they don't get at every other show, and give me a chance to break my shackles and not be the goody two shoes, suit dressing, you know what I mean? Nice guy. I don't have to play that anymore. I don't have to be him anymore. I can bring that asshole element out now and embrace that and have no issues. Like fuck me, I would never have any other show ever in my life ever have taken 2 tubes. Ever. Never. Because it was never an opportunity. It was never going to be an option. But this gave me a whole nother element. And sitting there at 49 and taking my first tube, people were coming up to me going, dude, you're fucking insane. I went, that's just part of the game, bro. Not going to lie, though, I was still picking glass out of my head 6 months later. Just those fine little shards that were stuck in like little crevices. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, all right. That was a piece of, yeah, okay.
See, you know what? I'm the one who's going to sit there and say, man, that's fucking crazy for you to do that. But like, if I was in that situation, they said, hey, we need you to do this, I'd be like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
But the first shot was planned.
Yeah,
the first shot was planned. The second shot, he goes to me, just stay there. Okay. Whack, second shot. And like he said to me after, he goes, you don't mind that I did the second one? No, not at all. It sold, didn't it? I said, did the crowd go off their fucking head? Did they do the big boo and the gasp? I said, yes, they did. So it paid off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
You got the payoff for it, so it makes
You got
sense.
the payoff for it. That makes it worth it.
What do you think about a lot of the these old time wrestlers that have negative things to say? Not negative things to say about deathmatch wrestling, but just think it's ridiculous, think it's whatever. I as you know, I know a lot of wrestlers from the States and veterans and stuff like that, and they have their opinions on it. But I just want to know, what's your thoughts on those people that have those thoughts on deathmatch wrestling? Do you think it's they don't understand what deathmatch wrestling is? Do you where do you think the disconnect is there?
I personally, I think that's that whole generational disconnect, because their generation didn't go out there to simulate maiming each other, to simulate the fact that they were legitimately trying to kill each other. They went out there to give themselves to give the people the illusion that they're giving each other a hiding because you've been a prick, I'm going to bash you. That was what they were there to do. So for them, when they start seeing light tubes and shit like that, they're going, well, what is that? We didn't have to do that. Why are they bleeding so much? We didn't have to do that. We gigged a little bit here and there, and it was only in a few matches. If we took a chair shot, or if we belted Hogan's head into the top of the cage, that was when we gigged. We didn't do it all the time. What is this?
Yeah, exactly. They just
they don't get it. They don't get it. But I mean, but like I said, that's a generational disconnect, because for them, they didn't need to do that. No. Well, and they didn't ever foresee when they were playing in this game, they didn't ever foresee that would ever be a thing either.
But let me ask you this: you look at guys that were around like Bruiser Brody, Abdullah the Butcher, the original Sheik. You know what I mean? And Terry Funk, right?
Yeah.
These guys were doing this shit. What was it, IWA Dream? They had fucking Tiger Jeet singing a fucking a death match. They had I think Stan Hansen was in a fucking death. But what, those matches, those Texas bull rope matches, those death match, those matches with Dusty Rhodes bleeding like a fucking stuck pig around the ring, all these things, what it was death matches. It just didn't have the name back then.
Exactly. But if you look at it though, too, those guys that were pulling off those matches, they were a handful of people that all stuck in that circle together. Hey, Jez. They all stuck in that circle together, and they all looked after each other. It was all the other ones that were on the outside were going, now those motherfuckers are crazy. We're not getting involved in that, what I mean? It was like it was a circle that they did. They didn't get in a lot of the outsiders unless they went, hey, dude, I really want to get in on this because this is fucking dope. You know what I mean? But there was a handful that did that stuff, and they all worked together to make that stuff happen. But like you're saying about the old timies who don't like it,
but it never had that name, deathmatch wrestling.
No, it didn't.
It was just like even in Puerto Rico, IWA with Carlos Colon. You look at some of that stuff. That was they were doing no rope barbed wire and
all
sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah, no, the deathmatch tag itself didn't exist.
Yeah,
it wasn't there, because they would just call the match what it was. It was never labeled a death match. It was always labeled as the barbed wire rope match, or
barbed wire
massacre or whatever. You know what I mean? And they never ever tagged it with death, and until later on down the track. And then it's like it became a massive thing, and it became its own. It came into its own, and it became its own niche market, and because then you had places like the Fed that went PG because they floated themselves on the market. So they stopped gigging. So deathmatch took on a whole new audience that went, well, I used to like watching them take chair shots and bleed on the Fed, and it's like I can't do that now. All right, well, I'm gonna go over here. Wow, look at CCW. Look what these motherfuckers are doing. Yeah,
Right.
okay,
Right.
okay. Well, hey, I'm sorry, Fed. I'll watch you with the kiddies, but hey, this is where my love is now. This is my passion now.
And I think as well, like like maybe the audiences as well, after they they become immune to it as well. I think that like deathmatch and violence in wrestling has probably had to evolve in
Yeah.
order to get the whoa, you know what I mean? Like to get people, the crowd popping. You know, it needs to be stepped up, and I think that that's probably why you see crazier and crazier shit. The only shit, you know, that I hate worse than seeing like this sort of shit
Yeah.
is like did you see fuck, I think it was about 6 months ago over in the US for I don't want to say the promotion's name in case I get it wrong, but like this guy, like I don't want to fucking talk shit about a promotion for doing it, but if they didn't do it, but this one guy, I saw a clip and the guy got the tip of his finger
I saw that.
cut off, and I'm just sitting there
Yeah.
like I'm going, bro, there ain't enough money in the fucking world for you to pay me to go. Like, could you imagine if a promoter like as a promoter going, hey man, I need you to cut a fucking pinky, bro. Like, no, or even another thing, a worker. Hey, Smack Daddy, this is what I'm thinking, bro. Yeah, man. So near the end of the match, he's gonna get like a pair of garden shears and get my fucking finger, and he's just gonna pop that thing off. We get it on ice, and we'll take it straight to the hospital.
Fuck no. I couldn't even come at that. I'd probably no shit have a fucking Mew. I would fucking Ralph if I saw someone do that, because that's just next level. That's too far for me. That's like, look, I'm all about the suspension of disbelief, but you ain't suspending any disbelief the minute you do that. There is nothing you can say that would make that okay. You know, because
just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, if you gimmicked it and had a fake finger, you know, you had a fake finger sticking up here and you did that, I mean, that's different. But if you did doing that for real, it's like, dude, okay, but what if they can't reattach that for you? What if you have severed the nerves? What if you've severed the fucking arteries? And the microsurgeon can't save it, or he can, but that's the limit of movement you have in that finger now, and it's stuck out like that forever now because you can't do shit. I said, just for me, I can't even come at that idea. I think that's next level of idiocy. You know, for me, that's too much.
I think if you're prepared to go and do that in a wrestling match in front of you know what, I'm going to be generous here. Let's say 150 people there, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to go out and do that in front of 150 people, or like to create internet buzz, bro. Like, I don't know this motherfucker's name. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's right. Neither do I.
So we don't know who he is. So we are talking about what he did, not who he is. So like, clearly it didn't create shit for him unless, you know, like, but you got to think like what person is in the right mental state of mind to go out like that, and the other guy in the ring with him to go, yeah, man, let's
fucking do it. Why? To what end? Because I don't know either of your names.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the company that you did it with. I just remember that you did that. And I mean,
it was
so
I think it was Carnage Cup, mate. No, don't say that.
no, I better not say it because it might be wrong. Yeah. No, but you know, it's like I remember the act, but I don't remember anything else around that. And I'm like, well, so you created the buzz of the finger cutting off, and unless I watch that footage again, I'll never know who you are, and I'll never know the company that you did it for. You know, it's just, you didn't get the buzz that you wanted, bro. You know, you didn't get what you wanted out of it. You're not an internet sensation. You're not known around the world now for doing that. You're known for doing it, but What's your name?
You known as that fucking idiot for cutting his finger off.
You're the dickhead who cut your finger off. Good one, idiot. Did they put it back on? Oh, what? They call you Stumpy now? You're a fucking stooge.
But you know, it actually, I'm just seeing it here. It was at Carnage Cup in
Okay.
in 2021. But you know, like that's the thing, man. Like, yeah, like obviously you as a promoter, like you obviously have to make sure you understand what the fuck is going on in your show in every single match.
Every
What
match.
doing? What are you doing here? What, you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
not to micromanage motherfuckers, but just so you know, okay, you're gonna need to fucking have an ambulance on hand, or
Yeah.
No, you're not doing that. Do a different or whatever. You know, there's definitely that thing there.
Yeah, fucking oath. I mean, and that's it. You've got to know those things. You know, if anyone pulls out a surprise fucking thing like that, or pulls any shit like that, I'm closing the fucking lights down, and that match is over, because I don't need any surprises that could create severe damage to anyone that isn't necessary. That isn't going to
Just
give the company any negative heat either, you know, because we don't need that as well. Not to mention the damage that those people could take from doing that move, you know, or pulling off something absolutely ridiculous that somebody may get seriously injured and die. You know what I mean? And I've got to be fucking real clear about that. You decide you're going to pull something like that, well, I'm turning the lights off. Your match is ending, and it's going to be a no contest. I don't give a fuck. I can't afford for people to get severely injured for doing stupid shit. You know, that isn't scripted, that isn't planned, that we haven't gone over 1,000,001 times before we do it.
100%.
You know, so that we know what we're going to do and what point this spot's going to happen, what point that spot's going to happen, and match done. You start going off script, then you got problems.
In Australian wrestling, though, I can't really see too many people like going down that fucking.
I'd fucking like to hope not. Because
I don't know, like a lot of people, you know what I mean? I've been around a lot of shows, man, and I definitely haven't seen anything like that, and I don't see anyone who would really do something like that.
Because the reality is, I'm a no bullshit kind of bloke, and I'll break my foot off in your ass if you try and pull that shit. You know, because this shit is set in stone for a reason before the show starts. It's designed. I mean, yeah, we have shit that goes wrong in shows, or we have to change shit on the fly, but we go over that before that happens, and we decide that that's okay. We're going to do that instead, you know. But if you're going to go off on your own, well, number one, that's the last time you're fucking ever working for me, because I'm not dealing with that. That's our backstage fucking motto is, at the end of the day, the promoters have the final say. And if you don't like it, hey, there's the fucking door. You don't get to go off on your own and make your own stories. Come to us with a story and we'll see how we can work it. But once you start trying to change shit, well, I'm sorry, you know, especially when you're gone, because we had that happen with backstage where we had with Back Alley Brawl, where people tried to go, there were certain people, I'm not even going to mention it, that went behind our back to try and change their matches and try and change the outcomes of the matches. And it was like, well, sorry, you're not on the card now. See you later. You know,
that's
because
just
I'm not
conniving, man. You know,
that's right. So it's like, no, see you later, mate. Bye-bye. Uru.
But word, obviously, you know, word gets around from, you know, the performers and stuff like that to other promoters, and pretty soon that sort of shit just gets weaned out of the business.
Yeah, and that's what needs to happen, because, you know, when we're trying to tell a story, that there's a reason we're telling this story. Hey, you know what? You might not like the outcome now, but that outcome now is going to have an impact on where your story is going to go in the future. You know, you might need to lose that match now to build up your character so that you win this match, and that one that means a shit ton to you. But no,
Yeah.
you wanted to change that outcome. Well, you don't even get to reach that upper echelon that you were going for. You
Yeah.
don't get that now because that's not what this is about. This is about us all working together to make this one fucking story work. And that's what we're about, you know, and that's what any good company should be about is fuck your backstage politics. We never had one disagreement backstage at Back Alley Brawl. Not one fucking disagreement. Everyone was in fucking harmony. And I've been in so many fucking locker rooms over the years where cunts are bickering at each other. You know, we didn't have that at all because the rules were simple. There is none of that shit. There is no politics that goes on backstage here. Our say is final, done. And we're not going to entertain your bullshit. You know, you want to get narky and shitty and whatever. Look, we're okay if you want to do some spots in your matches and shit like that. Talk with your boys, you know, talk with your people. But none of this changing shit. None of this fucking having a sook to this bloke or that bloke. We never got that. And that was fantastic. It was probably one of the most chillest locker rooms that I'd ever worked in my entire life. And I thought, wow, we can achieve this. We can make sure that there is no animosity between people. We can make sure that there is no aggro between them. And I was like, fuck yeah, okay, cool. We're good.
And I think that's the thing. It's the setting the boundaries and setting the standard of what you're going to accept. You know what I mean? Like it's
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that. The thing that my dad always taught me was always don't start something you're not prepared to continue doing for the rest of your life.
Exactly right.
Don't do something you're not prepared to keep doing. And I think that if you set that standard and you keep it as consistent, like the only person that changes outcomes of matches is promoters and bookers. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly right. Yeah, 100%. And that is exactly the rules that we wanted to make sure that actually understood. You don't get to go and talk to everybody else who's involved in your match and go, yeah, but wouldn't it make more sense if I did? And then try and talk that person into changing the match with us. And it's like, but hang on. That's not where we're going with that. So the answer is no. The situation stays the same. But no. It stays the same or you don't get a match. You make your choice now. But it doesn't make, all right, sorry, you're out. I gave you 3 attempts now. You didn't want to fucking play ball. Well, you don't get to play ball at all now. And I don't care about that. I'm not here to pussyfoot around and sugarcoat shit for fucking people. You know, I'm trying to run a business.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to make it the best business I can run. I'm trying to make it so that people come to our shows to enjoy, that our workers want to come and work for us because they've heard about our locker room ethics. Yeah. They've heard that we're not going to fuck around. We're not going to play around. We're not going to take the bullshit. Because, I mean, I've been around someone for another company where an outcome was supposed to happen where a certain rookie was supposed to win against a vet, but the vet had talked this rookie into giving the match up to him to win. And so they went out there and they had their match in the ring and nobody spoke to the fucking music guy that it was changed. Nobody spoke to anyone. So when the rookie lost, they didn't have the fucking veterans fucking music ready to play, did they? No. They didn't, you know what I mean? It was like, and so that was the last time that vet, well, he believed he was a vet. He was probably only another 3 or 4 years into the game longer than me. But the fact of the matter is, that was the last time he ever worked for them too, you know? And I was like, well, you don't get to do that.
That's not a vet because a vet would understand what you need to do in a show. And
exactly.
doing business is the promoter wants you to fucking do the favors. So guess what? You're looking up at the lights, taking the fucking pin. And you know what? By going and doing that, you're not a vet of the business. You're a fucking mark for yourself, bro. Like that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. You just
He liked to call himself a vet. He liked to call himself a vet, but at the end of the day, he was a mark and nothing more. And that was quite candid and quite obvious. You could tell because his love for himself and his own gimmick was fucking ridiculous. And I was like, wow, dude.
But you know what? You look at vets in the business, like real vets that have been around, like Dazza Dunlop, Mark Mercedes, Sammy Russo, Madison Eagles,
exactly
all these other names. They don't go walk around going, "Hey, pro wrestling vet, nice to meet. Hey, I'm the vet here." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly right. They don't. Because
if you're a vet and you've got a reputation and your career speaks for its fucking self, you walk into a locker room and you
100%.
get that respect. You don't need to tell someone
100%.
Hey, you know what I mean? Like,
fucking 100%. It's just, I just don't understand people, man, like that. They just, it just does my head in. It's like, and I mean, that's the reality is I'm not even mentioning his name because it's not worth a mention because he doesn't need that sort of notoriety. You know what I mean? He's burned his own bridges everywhere else trying to pull the same shit. So it's like, well, hey, dude, you're burying your fucking self here. Nobody's having a hand in that. You're doing that yourself. So I cease to even mention the dude's name in conversation with anyone anymore because I only have to say that incident to a lot of people. I know they go, oh, yeah, that cunt. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
He's a vet trying to get himself over.
Oh, without doubt. Every time he tried to change multiple storylines and multiple companies, and that was the only one that he succeeded in, and that was only because he got into the head of the rookie, got into his fucking head, and I was like, wow, dude, that's fucked up. That's fucked.
You know what I mean? Like and I think Vince Russo said this quote. It's like, I used to look after like grown men who used to argue over who was the toughest in a work sport. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Exactly. I think, like, wins and losses in pro wrestling, if you've got that mentality, then you're in the wrong field.
Man.
You're in the wrong sport. You're in the wrong fucking stratosphere.
Yeah. Oh, you look. You know what? And if you
Look, actually, you know what? Unless you're like making John Cena money or Hulk Hogan money, you know that get fucked money where it's like, get fucked. I'll do what I want, and
I'll do what I want. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you. I'm set for like 3 lifetimes, bro. Like, and you're in that situation.
I guess it's the same as being handed a championship, but you marking out all over the internet like, I'm the fucking champion. You know what I mean? But not in character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just cover these up.
No, but you know what I mean. Look,
no.
But they're trophies, they're collections. That's collectibles for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm talking about winning a championship that you really didn't win because the booker decided you were gonna be the champion for now. And you walk around going, I am the champ. You can't beat me. It's like, okay, unless it's a work and unless you're actually cutting a promo, I don't get it. You know?
Yeah. But you know what? I think like every wrestling fan growing up, and I think wrestlers as well, like the small part of them, like I think a lot of them in the inside mark out and go, this is, this is pretty fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like, because I think it could be, but like, I think if you look at a championship, and like I said, I'm not a worker, so it's hard. It's easy for me to say this, but I think if you look at a championship as an honor to hold it, as an honor to be that person that the company goes, you know what, you're our person, you're our number one that we think is going to put asses in seats, that you're going to draw us the most money, and you are the person for that spot. Then you're looking at it right thing. If you're sitting there going, we are the champ. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly right. Like I said, if you're doing it in a promo or you're doing it like in character, and you put it on your character page, that's fine. But when you're doing it on your shoot page and you're not in character, that's when you've become that next level of mark.
Yeah, look, I definitely completely agree with you on that one.
Yeah,
Oh, 100%.
It's,
So we are
it's-
at that time. We are at that time, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for 60 seconds with Piers. So we've explained to Smack Daddy how this works. If you're new to the show, you haven't seen this before, shame on you, motherfuckers, but we'll explain how it works. 60 seconds with Piers works like this. I start the clock. I ask as many questions as I can, as many questions as he, Smack Daddy, can answer in 60 seconds. We're going to get the clock started in just a second. Smack Daddy, you ready to get this game started, brother?
Oh, I'm ready, brother. I'm ready. I was born ready.
All right, let's start it off. Favorite song to sing at karaoke?
Favorite song to sing at karaoke's got to be Creep Blues version.
What is the most embarrassing thing? What is the one thing that embarrasses your family the most that you do?
Ooh, geez, that's a hard one because I do a lot of embarrassing shit. Honestly,
Like you're
I
being
do.
too much alike.
Probably walking in and patting myself on the belly like Kamala.
Which wrestler would you love to go out drinking with?
Oh, old school, I reckon Neidhart.
Oh yeah,
The
Master Chef
Anvil.
or My Kitchen Rules?
Master Chef.
Okay, so what would you rather, the ability to read minds or move things with your mind?
Move things with my mind.
Okay, if you could only eat one meal for a week, what would you choose?
My own homemade lasagna. I'm a
Which
mark for my own cooking.
Which Chris is hotter, Hemsworth, Evans, or Pratt?
Hemsworth is an Aussie.
There you go. Plain fairy bread or fairy bread with Nutella?
Oh, plain fairy bread. I'm not a Nutella fan.
If you came with a warning label, what would it be?
Prone to pop off at the mouth.
And last one, in 5 minutes, you are being shipped to outer space. What two personal belongings do you take with you, excluding human beings?
Ooh. Probably my Slipknot self-titled vinyl and my portable record player.
That is perfect. That has been 60 seconds with Piers. Thank you, Smack Daddy, for tuning in. The crowd's going crazy here in the
Thank you,
NWA
brother.
studio. But, Smack Daddy, it's been an absolute pleasure, bro. We've been sitting here for like an hour and 10 minutes, bro. Honestly, I feel like you and I could sit here all night and both of our fucking wives are going to be screaming at us in the next couple of hours. But hey, I definitely want to get you back on for a part two because I've really enjoyed having you on tonight, man. I must say.
Oh, brother, I've had an absolute field day. I can't argue. I cannot argue. I've had an absolute blast just talking to you, bro. I could sit here, like I said, we could sit here just shooting the shit for hours more. And that's the reality, you know. I mean, you've just scratched the surface.
100%.
There's so many more layers, bro, you know.
Absolutely. But Smack Daddy, where can everyone find you on social media and also find Six Below on social media?
Well, we've got all the, you know, Six Below Fight Club is all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All you got to type in is Six Below Fight Club. I couldn't get Smack Daddy for some reason on fucking Twitter, which pissed me off. So I had to go by my old school fucking tag, which is 1NOS2001. But I've managed to get Smack Daddy on Facebook, and I've managed to get Smack Daddy 1971, which, you know, being 50-year-old man, I managed to get that on Insta. So look, you want to find us, we're all over there. You know, they're our things.
Perfect, man. Make sure you guys go check out Six Below, their show, which is coming up on the 18th of March. Ladies and gentlemen, Australia's first ever electrified light tube death match. Jason Crusher Cole versus the Ugwa Total Violence champion, the Outback New Jack Guido. I always pop when I hear him call himself that. But guys, make sure you check out that show. It's going to be phenomenal. You know, if you're in Melbourne, make sure you go check it out live. If not, make sure you stay tuned to see what Six Below are going to do to present that, because you know they're going to be able to deliver that to all of us.
Oh, without doubt.
Guys, huge thanks to Smack Daddy. Thank you to everyone who tuned in live. Thank you to everyone who tuned in post live and on any of the podcast platforms. Please give us a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review. It is all appreciated. But guys, thank you very much. Thank you to our sponsors, healthvape.com and sleeps.com. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase, baby. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all that we have for this evening. This is Smack Daddy. This is Piers Austin, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Mwah! Goodbye and good night.
Take it easy, Pete. Thank you.